Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dottie's Kitchen. I'm Dottie Phelps.
And I'm Connie Hampton, and we're raring to cook again. It's been a
Ready?
while since Dottie and I have been together to cook. This has happened and that has happened, and
Everybody's been going in 10 different directions, and
life goes on.
Life goes on, and I think they've been showing reruns, and you all have told us when we're out and about that you like to see something new. So that tells me that you're watching, and that's a good thing.
Right, right.
So we're gonna cook up an absolutely wonderful cake for you today. It's called Milky Way cake.
Well, and Dottie and I were just talking. I said I've heard of a Snicker pie before, but never a Milky Way cake. And actually, I think Joe Thruckle, which some of you will know Joe Thruckle, he has an apple pie that has Snickers in it.
I bet that's good.
So I'm sure he will probably wanting this recipe with the Milky Way. We're going to be making a Milky Way cake, and it has 8 1 3/4 ounce Milky Way bars in it. It has 2 cups of sugar, 2½ cups of all-purpose flour, 1 1/4 cup of buttermilk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 3 sticks of butter, but Dottie says I don't have to eat the whole thing. 4 eggs that we're going to beat, and 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, a cup of pecans that are chopped, and then we're going to dust our pan with confectioner sugar before we do that. Now Dottie's already made this cake.
Yes, and I want to talk to you about that before we ever start putting it together. I made it yesterday, and it was so tender. You used buttermilk in this, and it was so tender that I had a really hard time even getting it out of the pans. It was so tender, and it wanted to just fall apart. So what I had to do in order to be able to ice this cake, I had to put each layer in the freezer and freeze it. And then I iced it, I dressed it this morning. So what we're going to do today with Connie's, and I would suggest that you do this, it makes it a lot easier, it will go a lot quicker, is to bake it in a 9 by 13 inch baking pan, and you may want to adjust the bake time on it. But I think you're going to be a lot happier. I worried about this all night long, and I thought, what am I going to do if I start to put that together and it just totally comes apart? Well, so far it hasn't. It's not the prettiest cake I've ever made, but
I bet we'll eat it.
If I make it again, and which I probably will,
right.
I'm going to do it in a long bake pan like this, as opposed to the 3 9-inch cake pans.
Well, now you were telling me your 3 9-inch cake pans are the air.
They're the air bake kind, and I don't.
So you don't know if that's was a factor or not.
I don't know if that had something to do with it, but you know, you have to. Normally, they'll tell you to cool your cake for 5 minutes in the pan before you turn it out onto a wire rack. Well, these air bake pans really hold the heat. So I don't know if that had a factor in it. The last one, the last layer I did, I left it in there for 10 minutes, and I still had a problem with it. But this cake is so moist, and it is so tender that when I make it again, I'm going to make it that way as opposed to in a layer cake.
Right. So that's what we're going to do today.
Okay.
First thing we're going to do is you're going to preheat your oven to 325 degrees. It says degrees, you're not 3 9-inch, but we're not going to do that. We're going to use our 9 by 13.
Yeah, we're going to grease that one.
And to make the cake, we're going to melt the Milky Way. This is your tongue-tied. Melt those Milky Way bars with 1 stick of butter. Then we'll remove that from the heat and let it cool. And then we're going to cream the remaining 2 sticks of butter with the granulated sugar. Add the beaten eggs and cooled chocolate mixture. Sip the flour and baking soda together, alternately adding the flour and the buttermilk to the batter. And oh, buttermilk, I'm salivating. Blend that well, add the nuts and the vanilla, and then divide the batter, which we're not going to do that. And then this says to bake it for 30 to 40 minutes, but we're going to have to watch our time because we're changing. We'll
be able to tell you when we get ready to put that in there. If I feel like that this is going to be big enough, you may have to put it in an additional square pan.
Right, right. So we're just kind of ad-libbing here.
Right.
Then we're going to cool that, remove from the pan, which we'll just leave it in the pan probably and ice it and serve it from there. So we're going to take a break right quick and get some stuff together, and we'll be right back and whoop up a Milky Way cake.
Sounds good to me.
Welcome back to What's Cooking at Our House. I'm Connie Hampton here at Dottie's house, and we're getting ready to put together our Milky Way cake. Dottie stepped over to the stove, to get some chocolate stuff going over there. And what I'm going to do is the first step here, I'm going to cream together 2 sticks of butter with the sugar. And Dottie was saying that when she did the cake yesterday, she really had to watch what was cooking on the stove because it was scorching pretty easily, correct?
Well, that when you make the icing, you have to really watch that icing because it will scorch very quickly. And because you have to get that up to a soft boil, you have to use a candy thermometer. Right. And you have to really watch it. Right. Otherwise it will scorch.
Did you say you had trouble getting it up to that temperature also yesterday?
Yes. When you first start, it goes up 100 or 220 real quickly. But then to get it on up to that 230, you think it's never going to happen. So you have to be real careful with it.
I didn't have any trouble getting my butter soft today because it's so hot.
Yeah.
So that's creaming together real easily there. All right, I've got the 2 sticks of butter with the granulated sugar. I'm going to add the beaten eggs. I'm going to do that right here. Do my eggs. Now, if Dottie was over here, she would be cracking these eggs with one hand. But Connie, you can't do that. I need to practice. I think that's how she gets that done.
Well, it takes a lot of practice, especially if you don't want to get shells in it.
And I just got a shell in it. You jinxed me there, sister.
Uh-oh, sorry.
While we're mixing this together, we'd like you to know that any of the recipes that we cook, we are willing to share those.
Yeah, just email email to YHCtv. Oh, no, recipes. I'm sorry, recipes at YHCtv.com. And they'll come directly to me, and I'll get them right on out to you. I knew I was going to mess that up.
Well, I started to write it down. We'll have to get our rhythm going here.
Yeah.
How many years have we done this, Miss Dottie?
Actually, I think this is, what, our 6th year?
I think you're right. And I know some of y'all have been watching since day one.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
We're always amazed at how many men watch us.
Yeah, I was in the grocery store a while back, and it's when we were getting ready to film in April, and this gentleman was in there, and he said, I was checking out, and he had already checked out, and he said, when are you going to have a new show? And I said, we start filming next week. So it always amazes me how many men watch the show.
Okay, I add the beaten eggs and the cool chocolate.
Well, this chocolate is not cool yet.
Okay.
So you just keep mixing that up.
Yeah.
And because we don't want to cook those eggs yet.
I don't think that'd be good.
I'm going to go ahead and turn this oven on 325.
This might be a little loud, but we got to do what we got to do.
Well, that's all part of it.
That's right.
You got to do it.
It's going to be like they're right here.
Okay. I think this is about ready. I hope it's cool enough.
Okay.
I'm going to, let's put a little bit in there. I don't want
do
to.
it slowly.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with chocolate and butter and sugar.
I tell you what, this is going to look kind of lumpy, but it all works out, believe me.
What does it look like? You think the batter looks lumpy, you mean?
Yeah, it kind of, until you get it all mixed in good, and
okay.
it will still look a little bit. I want to get a spatula for this.
Okay.
We want to get it all. I don't want to. I want to be sure all the good stuff is in there.
Don't leave anything behind.
Yeah, it's coming together pretty good.
Yes.
This is something else that when you're melting that chocolate, if you've got time, you need to do it over a low heat. And if not, you need to stay right there with it, because I can assure you it will scorch.
Trouble is lurking.
Yes. Okay.
Something I didn't do, Miss Dottie, is I didn't sift the baking powder with
Well,
the flour.
That's all right,
I
Connie.
have a fork here. We can.
Here, is that your?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all right. Mostly that is to kind of get if there's any lumps or anything in there. And let's see, I need to get that buttermilk too and get that measured out, because you have to do this alternately.
Okay, very good. We have creamed the 2 sticks of butter with the sugar. We've added the beaten eggs. We've cooled the chocolate mixture, and now we are adding the flour and the baking soda, alternating adding the flour and the buttermilk, blending well. Okie doke. Cup and a fourth.
Cup and a fourth.
Yeah, boy. Okay, I'm going to let you alternate.
I will alternate. Let me get a spoon.
Get the butter going here. I hope our container here can hold all this.
Well, it did yesterday.
Okay, well, we did it yesterday. We're in good shape. Good shape.
But you have to do this alternately. Okay.
That's why there's 2 of us, huh?
That's right. Wish I'd have had you out here yesterday. It seems like it's slow whenever you're doing that, but it comes together pretty fast.
I can't believe all those Milky Way candy bars are in there.
I know. They're so rich.
Right.
And with all that butter.
Ooh, baby. Be walking extra laps.
You know, I haven't been walking. It's been so hot. But I need to start back, I think.
Bill and I walked last night, and he didn't want to go, and I knew we had to go. And after we got home, I wish we hadn't known.
Oh, I tell you what, it's miserably hot out there.
Didn't take long to work up a lather.
No.
And we tried to go late, thinking it would cool off. Well, guess what? It never cooled off.
I don't think it ever cooled off,
No.
because I was out in the backyard about
It was hot this morning.
8 o'clock, and
5 o'clock.
yeah, it was just really hot.
You got a bowl full here.
Yep.
That'd be good.
Okay, I'm going to spray this.
I think I have to add I haven't added my vanilla. Oh, the nuts and the vanilla.
The nuts and the vanilla.
Alternate the flour to the blending well. Add the nuts and.
Yeah, you probably could, well, yeah, go ahead with that. I was going to say, when you put those nuts in there, if I were you, I would stir that with a spoon.
Stir the nuts in with a spoon or a spatula.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that, I don't know what that.
Okay. Let me do this. Get this. That's what the nuts in with this. That's how we get a low ceiling.
I'm sorry, what?
If I put the nuts in with the mixer going, I'd probably have
Oh, yeah?
to see it.
I really don't want to clean that ceiling.
Okay.
Now, we need to sprinkle this with the powdered sugar. You know, I had never heard that before. Had you?
No, I usually do, excuse me, Pam spray with flour in it.
Yeah. Well, I've often heard too, like with a chocolate cake, if you'll sprinkle cocoa in the bottom, you won't have that white flour thing on the bottom. Of course, who sees it anyway?
Right.
But I had never heard of using the powdered sugar, but it worked all right. I guess I don't think that had anything to do with me not getting it out of the pan. Okay. So we're going to put that in there, and I think you're going to find this is going to be easier. Now we may have to prepare another pan.
Right, because of our volume.
Because of that, yeah. And if so, then we can do that. I've got another one,
like
another pan.
8x8.
Yeah. So let's put it in there and see what happens. It's going to be fine.
Okay.
It's going to be fine.
We are in like a flint.
All right.
Very good. Okay.
I'm going to put this in the oven, and then I'll be back with a finished product.
Okay, so we're going to take a little break, and we'll see you back in a minute. Don't leave that couch.
Welcome back. We've got the cake in the oven, the one that we did of Connie's, and I've got this one here that I did yesterday. But first of all, I want to tell you how to do this icing. We're not going to do the icing on camera because it really takes a long, I said a long time. It's going to take you about 30-35 minutes to make it, and you have to stand right there with it or it's going to burn.
Yeah.
But you do 2½ cups of granulated sugar, and again, you know, there was 2 cups in the cake. So this is an absolute cholesterol city.
This is living on the edge.
This is living on the edge. So when you eat this cake, just eat a little bit. No, eat a little bitty piece. Just eat a little bitty piece and give some to your neighbors. Anyway, 2½ cups of granulated sugar, a cup of marshmallow cream, 6 ounces of chocolate chips, and a cup of evaporated milk, a stick of butter,
another stick,
and a cup of pecans. So what you do is you combine the sugar and the milk in a heavy saucepan, and I think that's part of the key right there. You need one with a heavy bottom, otherwise it's real prone to scorch. Yeah. And you cook that to the soft boil stage, which is 234 degrees. Now I have a candy thermometer, and I was using it when I fixed that this morning, but I could tell that it was beginning to stick. And I knew it was beginning to stick when I started and I saw this brown thing come up, and I thought, oh no. So I quit stirring, I turned the burner down a little bit, and I cooked it a little bit more. I never did get to the 234 degrees.
Wow.
But it turned out fine. I think if I had went ahead and cooked it to that temperature, it might have been a little hard. But anyway, then you take that, remove your pan from the heat, and you add your marshmallow cream and your other stick of butter and your chocolate chips, and you stir that until it's melted, and then you add the pecans. And when your cake is cooled, which by this time it's going to be cool, then you can frost the whole thing. And if you do make it in layers, you frost in between those layers, and then of course on top and the sides. Right. So anyway, that's how you do that. And if you have any questions, just send me an email to recipes@yhctv.com, and I'll get right back to you.
You know, sometimes when I make 3-layer cakes, I sometimes think I should have made 2 recipes of the icing, because I like to have plenty of icing between my 2 layers, and then have plenty, you know, and I'm thinking that, I don't know.
I think really if I would have increased,
stick of butter?
yeah,
I mean,
what's another stick of butter?
got
But
4.
in order to have plenty, I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
Of course, when mine was sticking on the bottom, I did not scrape. So there was a lot of it on the bottom.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But I mean, just almost every 3-layer cake.
Oh, yeah.
I always think, you know,
Yeah.
I should have made twice the icing just so I've got, because sometimes I feel like I'm cheating people because I'm not putting enough between the layers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's very good. I got to sample a little bit of it, and I'm going to cut a piece of this and see. We'll see what it looks like. Oh.
And Tyler is behind the camera today, and he is going to be the lucky recipient. He's going to be our guinea pig today.
Oh, I hope I can get it on a plate. I'm telling you, this is absolutely.
Wow. It's a hard icing.
Well, yeah, it is hard icing, but I'm into some of those pecans. Is what my problem is. This is probably not going to come out in a nice piece.
Oh, you might be surprised. Yum.
Oh, that's going to be good.
We're going to lose Tyler here in a minute because he's going to go comatose.
There's a
good piece of icing right there.
Yeah. You want to bite? You want to break that off of there?
I know this boy's hungry. I'm going to take one bite, then I'm going to pass it to Tyler. I have to have a little bit of icing.
That's a hard icing. And if you'd have cooked that to that soft boil, I'm not too sure about that. Good?
Okay. Tyler's not getting this.
Okay. Sorry, Tyler.
Very good. Very moist. And you know, you've got lots of good icing between the layers.
Oh yeah, I've got quite a bit in there. I had
different color.
Yeah, it is a different color
than most cakes.
It's a caramel looking, I guess you'd say. But anyway,
it is a hard icing. That's okay.
Kind of like candy. I mean, I guess that's why it's soft boil stage. You know. I don't know.
Excellent, excellent.
All right.
You guys have got to try it out there.
Okay.
Again, thank you for watching, and I'm really glad to be back at doing this.
Well,
I miss being with you here at your house.
It's been a while.
And and I know you all will enjoy the show and enjoy this wonderful recipe. I know you were a little unhappy with the way it came out, but
oh well.
I eat with my mouth. You eat with your eyes. I eat with my mouth and my stomach. Anyway. Well, thank you for joining us for What's Cooking at Our House. I'm Connie Hampton.
And I'm Dottie Phelps, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.
Bye-bye.